It's time for the new releases for the month of June. I cannot believe half of the year has gone by that quickly. My name is Raquel. This is where we come to celebrate and explore Black books. I have 10 new releases. I'm going to read the synopsis, give a little commentary here and there, and let you know when the book is coming out. So let's get into it. Let's see what these 10 new books are about. The first book is A Pair of Aces by Marie Bennett and Victoria Christopher Murray. It comes out on June 2nd, and I have been waiting for this book. It says Eunice Carter, Assistant District Attorney for the City of New York and Manhattan's first Black female prosecutor, has her sights set on the one and only Lucky Luciano, ahead head of the New York City's five largest organized crime families. Other prosecutors have tried bringing down Lucky, but they've all focused on the crime syndicate's traditional businesses: bootlegging, gambling, loan sharking, and drug dealing, or tax evasion. No one has ever thought to approach the mob through its role in prostitution until Eunice, but she can't get Lucky alone. Polly Adler has worked long and hard to build up her high class brothel business. Her client list is filled with well known names, both famous and the infamous, who all knows her booze is top notch, her music first rate, the food exquisite, and the girls the best. But Lucky has gone too far, putting her girls in danger, and Polly finally sees the chance to end his reign once and for all. Together, Eunice and Polly fashion a case utilizing a network of women, bridging the enormous divide between them and risking their own lives. They've assembled evidence bit by bit under the nose of the man they're trying to convict. It is this very alliance of two women from vastly different worlds that launches the most sensational trial New York City has ever seen. Now, I'm looking forward to this book, and I know that they're going to kind of show how they got Lucky Luciano. But what I would really like to see in this book is the actual court case. I don't know if it'll show it, but I'm still excited for this book. The next one is The Missed Connection by Tia Williams. It comes out on June 9th. It says, Sasha Cruz knows types. As a booked and busy casting agent, she's always casting. At happy hour, a grocery store, everywhere. She's all about finding the perfect person to slot into the perfect role. What she doesn't do, however, is relationships. Too much energy and not enough time. On a flight to Paris for work, a chance encounter with her type changes everything. Sasha's seated next to a broodingly attractive mystery man, and sparks fly, but they never exchange contact information. Convinced she's lost out on her soulmate, Sasha emails her work friend for help, but accidentally writes to the entire company worldwide. The international manhunt to find seat F begins. Meanwhile, Sasha takes matter into her own hands. She hires a smoldering detective she knew another lifetime ago, with who complicates matters in unforeseen and irresistible ways. With a worldwide search underway, will love take flight for Sasha? I've never read anything by Tia Williams, but I know that people say her books are really good. I do want to read this one book. I cannot remember the name of the book, but I know the cover is beautiful. It is like purple and blue. I believe it's also historical fiction. I started it, but I only got like maybe 3 chapters in. Anyway, this one sounds pretty good as well. Next, we have Our Sister's Keeper by Jasmine Holmes. It comes out on June 9th. It says, Mississippi, 1927. The groanings are coming. So I guess even from the date, you can tell it's historical fiction. It says, no town is perfect, but East Cobb's comes close. It's a wealthy, all black, free town, untouched by white suppression, where ambitious Tia Elliott and her husband plan to make good on their big dreams. Little do they know that the idyllic town teems with foolish walking nightmares that can only that only the women can see. Mariah knows the groanings well. She is one of the carriers, women with the ability to pull tragic memories from men. Populated by men entirely freed of their pain, East Cobb has flourished, even as the remnants of their memories haunt the town's women. When an unexpected death drives Mariah into discovering more about her own power, Thea and Mariah worlds collide. The sisters must confront the rotten core at the heart of East Cobb's prosperity and choose what and who will survive the reckoning. A gripping blend of historical fiction and Southern Gothic psychological horror, Our Sister's Keeper is a fierce exploration of Black sisterhood, rage, and resilience. So, just lately, I have been reading historical fiction and horror, and I am enjoying it. So, I'm looking forward to this one as well. Then we have book number 4. It's called A Deal at Dawn. It is by Vanessa Riley. Comes out on June 30th. Vanessa Riley seems to write books about Black royalty. I've heard that they're good, but none of them really has ever reeled me in. Like, ooh, I want to read that. But let's check this one out. It says the risks have never been more personal or more dangerous in this powerful Regency romance as a resilient Viscountess risks everything for the daughter she loves and the Duke she cannot forget. Catherine Wilcox Palmer, the Viscountess of Hampton, has lost custody of her daughter she secretly bore to Jalil Charles, a now Duke of Torrance. The bitter Count ruling was engineered by the Duke himself, but now he is gravely ill. If he dies, Catherine, branded as a scandalous bigamist by her late husband's vengeful family, may never see her child again unless she makes a bold offer. Desperate, Catherine swallows her pride and proposes that she will nurse Jalil back to health, serve his every need, and keep up appearances on one condition. He will secure her a respectable husband to silence society's gossip. In private, she will be his mistress. But Jalil has plans of his own. Pressured to produce an heir, he resolves to marry someone else. The hereditary blood sickness that plagues them both means Catherine can never be his bride again, no matter how fiercely their old passions reignite. As danger forces gather, composed of those who would erase their child from the peerage of her mixed heritage, Jalil and Catherine must confront the betrayals and deceptions that tore them apart. To protect their daughter and fight for the future they were denied, they must jeopardize everything, including their hearts. Next, we have a Fairfield County novel by Delana R.A. Demeron. It comes out on June 9th. It says a sprawling landscape of sand, red clay, and pine trees. South Carolina Fairfield Country is the only place the Bolton family has ever called home. For more than a century, they have cultivated this land, expertly raising horses to compete in derbies and rodeos and passing their knowledge from generation to generation. But after a devastating tragedy, Dwayne, the next inheritor of the Bolton legacy, buries his family history, particularly from his daughter. Unlike her father, Nikki is a proud, burgeoning horsewoman with no knowledge of her family's connection to that part of her life she's most passionate about. But when a series of events threatens to sever father and daughter from the only land they've ever known, Dwayne is forced to confront his past so that Nikki can step into her future. With nuance and care, Delana R.A. Demeron deftly examines her most beloved subject, the intricacies of family and the powerful forces that shape who we are. Fairfield County is at once a moving exploration of the ties that bind us and bold reclamation of the American cowboy, taking this iconic image out of the whitewashed Old West and deep into the heart of Black South, where it has always resided. I am so interested in this. I've been wanting to read some kind of cowboy urban fiction, but I think this one will suffice. I like the idea of taking it back to where it belongs, so I'm very interested in this. Next, we have Hush Money and Hits by Natisha Rayner, comes out on June 30th. It says Vanya Roberts is used to being the underdog. Her circumstances taught her that being nice gets you stepped on. It's always the villain that comes out on top. When Vanya finally gets the upper hand, she does not care about consequences. It's sink or swim, and as far as she's concerned, she's already sinking. Getting on Caleb Moore's bad side would make anyone think twice, but Vanya can't worry about what will happen if she crosses him. She's worried about what happens if she doesn't. Game face on, she does what most wouldn't dare. The only issue is now she has to look over her shoulder for the rest of her life. Pierce Langston has never cared for his father, but he tolerates him. When his father's latest stunt crosses the line, Pierce decides that vengeance is his. But before he can stand up against the big bad wolf that helped create him, he must complete a mission, a job that seems easy at first because it consists of tasks that he's completed many times before. However, once Pierce discovers what's really at stake, all bets are off. What happens when the hunter becomes the hunted? Number 7, One Stop Euphoria, a Premier Wings romance by Monica Walters, comes out on June 5th. It says, being spoiled rotten as a kid, Graham Taylor feels entitled to whatever he wants, including women. Having a past filled with questionable behavior and teetering on the verge of sexual harassment, he realizes it's beyond time for him to grow up. He goes through a career change in his 30s and knows that is where he should have been all along. He's overly concerned with meeting women that he can conquer, even when he meets the woman that takes his breath away. She's 10 years his junior, but in his mind, she's grown and has a career, and that's more than enough for what he wants from her. Struggling and grinding to get to the top can cause an extreme amount of stress, desperation, and disconnected interactions. Arlie Winston, who goes by the stage name of Sola, works hard for everything she has. Taking a flight from Houston to LA for a show, she meets a flight attendant that intrigues her. She knows at this stage in her music career, she can't afford to let her guard down for anyone. He's so irresistible until she convinces herself that she can handle just having fun with him to fulfill her body's desire without attachments. When he agrees to her proposal, she's elated. Things become complicated when their hearts and minds want to follow their physical needs. They both want they both want more, but are hesitant about saying so. When they finally do, both their worlds take traumatic hits. Arlie feels like her past drama and trauma will be the red flag for Graham, immediately deciding he doesn't deserve that turmoil. Will Graham be able to get past what Arlie feels is unforgivable and continue to pursue a relationship with her? Or will he confirm her assumption and walk away? Um, I don't know, but he don't sound all that hot himself. Anyway, number 8, Trouble Man by Quan comes out on June 2nd. I am a Quan fan. So, this one says, Toussaint Baptiste is returning home from the city of brotherly love, hoping he can, for once in his life, outrun his nickname, Trouble. Toussaint has been in prison, but before that, he was a Philadelphia police officer. He's returning home with few friends on either side of the law, but with a little apartment in Chinatown and a vested interest in taking care of the family restaurant downstairs. He expects to have enough to keep him busy. But as ever, trouble has other ideas. Juan made a name publishing urban fiction series like Animal and Hood Rat and rose to the top ranks of the genre, creating his own literary Harlem as rich as anything out of Mario Puzo or Elmore Leonard. I know Mario Puzo wrote The Godfather. I don't know who Elmore Leonard is and what he wrote. Anyway, now he's teaming up with Questlove to take on a whole new territory, a whole new genre with Trouble Man, the beginning of a brand new series that brings Philadelphia to literary life in a way that never has been done before. Trouble. Um, it sounds interesting. I'm just curious to know, why does he live in Chinatown? Like, and he wants to help the family downstairs. Is it his family? Are they Chinese? Like, what's going on here? So I'm definitely interested in this. Um, yeah. And number 9, we have Silent Surrender by Nitra Antoinette. Comes out on June 30th. It says a dark, emotionally charged thriller where three sisters bound by blood, divided by secrets, are forced to confront the violent past that made them. Stormy Feathers learned early that monsters can live inside the people meant to protect you. The night she stopped her mother's abuser, she also silenced her fear and awakened something darker inside herself. Years later, she and her sisters Rain and Sky have built a shadow empire that delivers justice to those the system forgets. Each woman has a role. Rain handles the logistics, Sky covers digital traces, and Stormy carries out the sentences. Together, they've turned their pain into power. But when Stormy meets Niles Gray, a former homicide detective with an haunted past, she feels something she's long suppressed. For the first time, she begins to imagine a life untouched by violence until she discovers Niles is connected to an unlikely suspect. Now, Stormy must choose between protecting her sisters and trusting the one man who makes her believe she deserves more than vengeance. Yeah. And last but not least, we have Revive Me by J.L. Seegers. This is part 3 of the trilogy. So last month, um, in May, Revive Me Part 2 came out. So this is Revive Me Part 3 by J.L. Seegers. It comes out on June 11th. It says Mallory. Hope is a dangerous thing. It holds you close like a lover, whispering promises it never intends to keep. And just as soon as you relax into its arms, it lets you go, sending you spinning into an abyss of nothingness. When I sent him away 4 years ago, he promised he would come back to me. And even as I asked him not to, I hoped he would. Hope I tucked deep inside of me underneath the scars of our before, besides the dreams of our after, hidden like contraband, guarded like a treasure, broken like every promise that ever fell from his lips and hit my ears. Eventually, I got tired of hoping, of waiting for him, and I plunged my hands inside my own heart, ripping past the scar tissue and muscle, veins and arteries to root it out. Hope. He conspired with it to make a fool of me, and when I freed myself from it, exercised that pointless dream, I promised myself that no one would get the chance to do that to me again. Then and only then did he appear. My promise, a spell that conjured him, my determination, a challenge, my heart, the only prize he hopes to win. Christopher. Life without Mallory Kent has taught me that time doesn't heal wounds, it turns them into scars, jagged tissue that grows around your pain, covering it with raised skin that will never again be smooth to the touch. My first scar formed when I was just a child, too young to fully understand what my mother's loss would mean for my life, but old enough to remember the echoes of the pain inside my empty chest. It was a unique agony, one I never expected to feel again. But that was before I loved her, before I let things that had nothing to do with us cost me everything. It's been 4 years since I decided to honor her request to stay away, to move on with my life and give her a chance to move on with hers. And she might not agree, but it's more than enough time for us to try and do the impossible. The only time the only thing our time apart has done is remind me that wherever she is where I'm supposed to be. Now I just have to make her believe it. So I guess for all you JL Seekers fans, that's part 3 of the trilogy. So it's the last part. I am not a JL Seekers fan. I did read one book from the Haven series. It was good, but it did not prompt me to read any of the others. So now that I've given you this list of books, which ones are you going to read? I'm going to put mine down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, see you soon.